You ready to do this, Hattie?
I'm ready.
All right. Welcome into another edition of the Grown Man's Podcast. My name's Tom. Across from me, the man, the myth, the legend, Hattie. How you doing today, Hattie?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well.
Oh, pretty well. Okay. See, I like that. It's very honest, very genuine. That's nice. So, before we get started, we do want to thank our Patreon supporters. I almost said Gary again, but it is Barry, Gus, and Darlene. We thank you guys for doing that. And if you guys want to become a Patreon supporter, you can do that over at patreon.com/grownmanspodcast. We also want to suggest that you guys go over to Twitter and follow us on our Twitter page at grownmanspod, or you can do it over on Instagram at grownmanspodcast. And also today for the podcast, for the show after the show and the whiskey tasting, we are going to be drinking, as it was teased on last week's episode, Redwood Empire's Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey. So smooth. An incredibly smooth whiskey. Probably the smoothest whiskey I've ever had in my entire life, and we will be drinking that for the whiskey tasting.
It's an okay smoothness whiskey.
Well, there's some debate about that, but we'll get into that when the time comes for that part of the podcast.
Yeah, so stick around after the music.
But until then, how was your week this week, Hattie?
Another strain. Well, I mean, it's just Monday. I mean, it's only Monday, but
well, I'm talking about the last 7 days since we last sat here in front of these microphones.
Very strange. Just odd things that have happened in my
Why don't you tell us about
7 days.
Anything good?
I mean, just different work days.
Okay.
Like not the normal stuff, just super crazy things and crazy things happening.
Cool beans. Yeah, I had quite the day today. It was one of those days that everything seems to go wrong. And I woke up late this morning.
Never a good thing.
Which is unfortunate. My son didn't have school, so I didn't have to get up and get him on the bus, which is kind of my alarm clock. I kind of use that as a gauge to get up and get going in the mornings. So I got up late, and then I didn't have my gas money for the week already taken out of the account, so I wrote a check for myself to go to the bank in cash. But whatever federal holiday it is today, the banks were not open.
President's Day?
President's Day. Well, wonderful. So thanks to Abe Lincoln, I had to drive back home and get my wife's debit card. And
why don't you have a debit card in your wallet like a normal human
I don't carry a debit card.
Or a credit card?
I work on a cash system. So I don't have to worry about keeping track of receipts and anything, because I make a lot of small purchases throughout the day.
So you don't.
It would be a nightmare for my wife.
But what about a credit card? Then you don't got to track it. You just got to pay.
I do have a credit card, but I don't like to use it unless it's an emergency. And today
you're missing out. You're missing out on all those credit card points, cashback dollars, travel rewards, whatever it may be.
I'd overuse it. I know myself. See, that's the thing. I know myself well enough to know that if I had a credit card that I was just supposed to use throughout the week,
just use it the same as you would cash.
That is an option, Hattie. That is, something that some people could do.
Write yourself. See, this is what you need to do. You need to get yourself another yellow legal pad like you use for the podcast notes
every week.
Every week.
Yep.
And just write down whatever it is that your current cash balance is. Like $100. I mean, obviously you'd probably spend more than that on gas because you're crazy driving.
I spend $300 a week on gas.
So put $300 down there plus your snack budget, and divide that by 5 work days, and that's all you put on the credit card.
That would require keeping track of, Hattie. If I was able to keep track of stuff, I would just carry a debit card with me.
I mean, you just got to keep track of your cash anyway, right?
I don't have to keep track of it because I have cash in my pocket. When the cash runs out, I'm done with gas.
You're done with gas?
Cash.
Was that gas? The gas.
It was my gas cash.
Together. You're like,
that's my gas cash. I don't have to keep track of it. When I get down to Thursday, I'll just do a quick thumb through to make sure I know about how much I spend each day. I at the end of the week, I usually have a little bit of money left over that I'll stick in my glove box. And I usually use that for buying a little whiskey for the podcast.
Glove box dough.
Yep.
Don't ever give your license plate out and what kind of car you drive. People will just break in for that.
So you guys,
that glove box cash.
Yep, it's a red Mazda 2. So you guys can come and break into my car whenever you want, and you'll find anywhere between $20 to $40 in there.
You know it's going to be on the news next week.
Local podcaster
Red Mazdas are getting robbed all over the country.
Right. We have that kind of influence, Hattie. we have the ability to make every red Mazda 2 owner in the country unsafe. So, you know what? I don't care because that's not going to happen. I'm not worried about it. By the time that anybody hears this and finds me, I'll probably have a different car because I go through cars frequently.
That is true.
Either
they break down or you crash them.
Yep. So anyway, I left this morning with yes, that is true. I left this morning without my gas cash. So I had to come back and
Gas
cash. So I had to come back and grab the debit card so I could go get money out of the ATM. And then I made it, I don't know, I think I did 4 or 5 jobs this morning. Made it about an hour away from home before I hit this enormous pothole on this back road. And all of a sudden I heard this banging and clanging coming from my rear passenger side tire. So I got out and my shock broke. The strut on the back of my rear tire broke. Like it was just sitting there flopping around in the back wheel well. So that's good.
That's not terrific.
So I called my wife. I said, "Hey, honey, I need you to go meet me at our mechanic's place." She's like, "Okay." So I start to make the slow trek back. I have to take all the back roads. I can't drive on the highway with the shock just flapping around in the back wheel well. I have to take all the back roads. So I make it back to our mechanics. And just about the time that I'm about to pull into the mechanic, she gives me a call and she says, so I just went outside and the van has a flat tire and Serenity's car won't start because the battery was dead. I was you gotta be kidding me right now.
Well, push Serenity's car to the van and jump her up.
The van was parked up in the driveway next to the garage. They were both pointing the same way. It wasn't possible. Fortunately, I had a battery pack that was charged that she could use to jump Serenity's car. My daughter is Serenity, by the way. So she finally made it down there. And yeah, it was a bad way to start the day. I had to go take the tire off of her car because she has to have her car tomorrow.
Yep.
So I had to take the tire off of her car and then take my son down to town because he had to work this afternoon and she wasn't going to be able to take him because I had the only working car in the family at that point. I didn't. Long story short, I didn't get to start working until 1:30-ish, for the day, and I had a full day's worth of work to do. So
yeah.
Kind of a killer as far as that's concerned. But
yeah, well, at least you have a flexible job. I mean, it's not like an office job where they're expecting you to be there.
Well, if I had an office job, I'd have PTO. I'd just call off for the day.
That is true. That is true.
Yes, I have a flexible job in that I can do stuff like that, but I have an inflexible job in that I'm just going to have that work to do tomorrow.
Sounds like a good day tomorrow as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a real fun day. I have to kind of fit a day and a half worth of work into 2 days or into 1 day. So
this time of year,
hey. You know what?
What do you get sunlight for? 5:30, 6 ish?
About 6 o'clock. Yeah, so the days are getting longer now.
So at least you get till 6 and not 4:30.
Extra early start tomorrow, but I'll probably oversleep or something again. That's kind of how my life goes.
Set that alarm, man.
Hey, Mason doesn't have school, so
double alarm. That's what I have to do.
I have to put it away from me, on the dresser or something.
Yeah, I have a double alarm, and my wife always sets a backup alarm. So
yeah, if I have to get up, I will set my phone across the room on the dresser so that I actually physically have to get up and go turn it off. Because if it's right next to me, I will just have dreams that involve, does that ever happen to you? Where you incorporate the buzzing into your dream?
Nope.
It'd be your cars, you have to hit an alarm on your car or something. It's that happens to me almost every morning that I set an alarm.
I will say when I'm pretty paranoid, when I travel for work or if I have to get a flight somewhere, I set my work phone, my personal phone, my iPad.
Wow.
And if I'm in a hotel, I do the whole call me thing.
Yeah. Wake up call?
Wake up call.
There we go.
So I have 4 things going off at the time that I'm going off. There's no way I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to miss a flight. That's no fun.
No. That'd be a big time problem.
Big time no.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that's how my day went today.
And
Mondays are always, I so didn't want to get around and go to work this morning.
Well, neither did I. Yeah. Or anybody.
And the problem was I came back to the house this morning. I already didn't want to leave this morning to go to work. Mm-hmm. I was just kind of in one of those moods. I was like, I just want to hang out at the house all day.
Yeah.
And do nothing. And then I had to come back to the house. My bed was looking all warm and inviting and stuff. And my wife was just, hanging out still and, slowly getting up. She had the baby and stuff. And I kind of laid back in bed for a second to talk to her. It was like, I don't know if I want to leave.
This is good.
Yeah, this is pretty sweet. Maybe I'll stay here.
You know what the 5-day work week should be?
What's that?
It should be noon on Monday. Go into work.
Yep.
So you at least have the morning to recover.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday until noon. So you kind of get
So 4 days worth of work.
Well, I mean, depending on what your job is. I mean, that varies depending on what you do. But yeah.
Yes, I do agree that work week should be 4 days long. That would be nice.
Yeah, but who actually works 5 days and 5 days? It's always 5.5, 6 days. So you still get 5 days of work in there at some point.
Yeah.
How many people anymore actually have a 9 to 5 job? Very few. I know I don't.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, I don't work 40 hours a week very often. Like, hardly ever,
You say
if
you
ever.
work more?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I
yes.
work way more than 40 hours a week.
Yep.
But I try very hard to make it only Monday to Friday.
Yes.
I very rarely have to work weekends.
I very rarely have to work weekends as well.
Which for my job is a challenge because I could easily pick up extra days on the weekend. But you know what? None of this is football related.
None of it is.
It is neither football nor whiskey related.
All right.
These people are like, why are these two idiots, these two schlups, sitting here complaining about their day jobs? We tuned in to listen to them talk about football.
That is true, but everyone loves to complain about their day job.
That is true, but nobody likes to listen to people complain about their day job.
That is true.
They're like, do it on your own time, buddy.
All right.
So let's get into NFL news.
Or just news in general.
Since
the news, the NFL news is getting slow. Yeah. So maybe it's just news in general.
So Hattie's looking to surprise me with he's got a couple news items he did not tell me about.
I do.
He's looking to get a quick, honest reaction. Mm-hmm. It's a little gotcha journalism.
A little gotcha.
All right, so let's get into it. What do you say?
All right, I got 4 items. How many you got?
Looks like I got 5.
Oh, so you're going first.
All right. I always try to outdo you by 1. All right.
I'll sneak another one in there by the time it's my turn.
Well, you know what? We didn't cover which ones we had here, so we might have some repeats.
You better not take mine.
Well, I'm going to try. The Jacksonville Jaguars agreed to play 2 games next year in London. So they're encroaching ever closer. Encroaching ever closer? Is that what I'm looking for? Crouching ever closer? They're getting closer to being a London-based team, which has been the speculation about the possibility for a London-based team as the Jaguars going over there.
The London Jaguars.
Yes. Or Jaguars.
Jaguar.
But yes, they have agreed. Shad Khan, their owner, has agreed to have their team play 2 of their home games. Okay, so not even away games for them. They're home games.
Wow.
They are playing over in London next year.
So you know what that tells me? They make more money when they play in London than they do when they're in Jacksonville.
Or that they want to expand their market to be 2 home field advantages. 2 home field crowds, two different towns that consider them to be their team, so they can double their merchandise sales.
It's money related, regardless.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's some dollars and cents there. The reason it's behind.
If I was a fan of the Jaguars, I'd be pretty ticked off about that, especially if I was a season ticket holder.
Yeah. Well, I think they probably...
I'm sure they prorate them.
They prorate them, yes.
They're
not only paying X amount of dollars per game.
I'm sure that's probably the case, but...
Yeah, keep that mic right up there.
Oh.
It's not you trying to lower that baby down.
Listen, man, I keep it right in front of my face the whole time. If I'm looking down, I move it down. I'm moving this thing... listen, it's like this. You ever see those people that are on radio shows and stuff? They're just moving it around with them the whole time.
Moving it around?
Yeah.
It's bad for audio quality.
No, look, maybe I'm just taking it around with me wherever I go, and people probably can't even hear that I'm moving it right now.
Maybe, probably.
Who knows? It's hard to say.
You can let us know on Twitter, like you can any day.
You can do anything you want. Now I'm just actually touching the microphone and moving it around.
That's going to sound real bad.
Yeah. Who cares? You probably care, and our listeners probably care. They're probably like, "Will you, for the love of God, just knock it off?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So 2 home games next year for the Jaguars in London. I don't know. I would be tossed it if I was a. Oh, you are such a faker.
Yeah, I just took a sip of that whiskey. It's not the smoothest whiskey I've ever had in my life. That was actually a little rough. That was the roughest sip yet.
How big of a sip did you take? If you're chugging it, it
was a small sip. I mean, you know how much was in my glass. There's still a lot in there.
You're a crazy person. Woo. Guys, go out and get yourself a bottle of Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey.
Yeah, it's real good.
If you guys do not think that it... And Hattie himself thought that it was a rye whiskey. We did it in the whiskey tasting. I pulled up his whiskey notes on our Google Doc.
Yeah, it came in first place for me.
Yeah.
Out of the whiskeys that we had.
It was your favorite whiskey we tried.
It was.
And we tried some good whiskeys.
I'm not denying that. Yeah. It was not my number 1 smoothness, though, which is what we're debating at the moment.
But you did rank it quite high in smoothness.
It's got good flavor.
And smoothness.
It's above average in smoothness.
Yeah.
It's not
it's great
horrendously
whiskey.
smooth.
It's the smoothest whiskey I've ever had in my entire life.
That is untrue.
Yeah, it's probably twice as smooth as Blue Label.
Absolutely not.
It's like drinking water, essentially, but it's like alcoholic flavored water.
Not quite.
You can chug it, though.
Yeah, you probably could.
Yeah.
So my first one, NFL news, is Josh Norman.
I like the way you said that. News. NFL news.
Josh Norman cut by the Washington Redskins.
Took the shears to him.
They're a little cap strapped out there in Washington, so I'm sure that saved them some money.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact numbers because I didn't look that part up. But, yeah. I mean, he's been...
I think around $8 million, if I remember seeing that correctly.
Yeah, I think it is around there. I didn't want to say because I didn't have it, right in front of me. But Josh Norman has been one of the better corners in the league for a long time. I mean, he is
he was one of the better corners. It's been a while since
zone cover.
It's been a while since he has been one of the best corners in the league.
So I'm sure somebody will pick him up.
Yeah,
as he's going forward.
I mean, I don't want the Jets to get him. I think that his best years are behind him, and
hey, he's a great candidate for the multi-purpose role, like playing the slot, play some safety, play some different stuff.
Yep.
If you can get him for a decent price for that role,
yes,
he would be a great pickup for a team.
And I just looked here; it looks like $8.5 million. They
saved this year. All right.
Yep.
All right, not a bad cut then. What's your next one?
Next item up. You're gonna do Myles Garrett, right?
Well, you just started it, so let's just do it.
All right. Well, why don't you cover it then? Because that's one that I had written down, but I wasn't going to cover because it was yours.
All right. Myles Garrett met with Roger Goodell in New York City for a meeting, and he has been reinstated in the NFL after the Pittsburgh-Cleveland brawl of 2019.
Yeah, a little battle royale, really.
Little helmet royale.
Yeah, spit swapping makeout match.
Well, I mean, things were said, helmets were swung, kicks were kicked, and resulted in the suspension of 3 players, I believe. Myles Garrett was indefinite.
Yes.
But he really only served 6 games, I believe.
Which, if you listen to our analytics, our superior analysis from, I think, last week.
I think it was last week.
Where we discussed this, and I said that... I don't think that his actions should warrant a greater suspension than what a domestic violence charge should be. And as it turns out, I was correct.
Yeah, I think he should have got...
Just toot my own horn there for a second.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should have got a couple games for next year.
I think it was enough.
But whatever.
Yeah. But
he's back.
There's a little post-suspension drama going on because he's still talking about how Mason Rudolph did, use
things.
Racial expletive on the field.
And conveniently, the NFL doesn't have... a clip of that.
Interesting. But and now Mason Rudolph is stating that he is thinking about bringing legal action for defamation of character against Myles Garrett.
Neither one of those two guys are famous enough for that lawsuit to go through.
Well, Myles Garrett is.
Mason Rudolph's being a tool.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph's looking to get a payday because he knows that he's not going to be the guy.
The star much longer or ever.
It might be his last payday.
Did I ever actually tell you about Mason Rudolph? So I've actually, on Twitter and social medias, some people have actually spoken out that claim, not confirmed, I'm just going to say that, not confirmed, but claimed that they went to school with Mason Rudolph and said that he was a complete tool in college and just not a really good person. Yeah. So, whether that's true or not, I tend to believe that it is kind of, just because of...
He's a jerk?
Well, just because of names that were used and who went to college. I did a little research into it, so it's not just some random person on Twitter saying stuff to believe them. But they're
Freddie the frat dude.
I would say it's more likely than not the people that were talking did go to school with Mason Rudolph and told some stories that were not so shining of old Mason. So.
Little La Raville on his character, huh?
So I don't think he's a great character guy. I mean, I kind of thought about it when, when you can kind of tell a guy's personality in a press conference or when they're talking, if they're a decent guy or not. And let's just say the needle tipped towards the not decent guy
well, his dad's
when
a
I
lawyer.
was listening to him. So
his dad's a lawyer.
I would tend to, without meeting either one of them and having any interactions with them, I would tip the scales in the unfavorable side for Mr. Mason Rudolph.
Yeah. Rudolph the red-nosed
He's not a red-nosed reindeer that is all happy and friendly.
Yeah, well, unless he's been drinking, hitting the sauce.
Hitting the sauce?
Then his nose might be a little red.
Maybe. Or if it's real cold. Pittsburgh gets cold.
That's true.
Yeah, you get a little red nose.
Yeah. Anyway.
But not jolly, for sure.
But yeah, Myles Garrett, reinstated. I think that's good. I think it's good for the league.
Yeah. I mean, he was going to get reinstated anyway.
He's a good player.
An indefinite suspension's never indefinite, so.
Well, indefinite just means there's not a defined term for suspension. It doesn't mean forever. So. All right. While we're talking about a Cleveland Brown, let's move it along to another Cleveland Brown.
Oh.
Mr.
2 Browns.
Baker James Mayfield.
All right.
Currently in the news, or
Ooh.
I don't know if he's in the news. Twitter news, anyway. It's been going around on Twitter that he has had some illicit sexual encounters. Encounters of a illicit nature with a female that is not his wife. and she came out with pictures of a ill-clad, clothing-wise, Baker Mayfield. I'm talking about certain phallic pictures. If you can use your imagination.
Use your imagination.
Or don't, because I pretty much spelled it out for you. So you could probably just figure it out from exactly what I said. But yeah, some dick pics, and also Baker Mayfield cheating on his wife. So, been going around on Twitter. I don't know if there's legitimacy to it, but it certainly seems like she was screen recording her Instagram where she was talking to Mayfield, and so
yeah. I mean,
I'm sure it happens a lot.
Fame and fortune, it happens a lot.
Yeah, but he's married. I mean, I guess it's.
It happens all the time. I think in
sure
major sports.
I mean, it doesn't happen with Sam Darnold. Doesn't do that kind of stuff.
I mean,
Sam Darnold's way too much of a classy guy for that. But
he's better at hiding it, apparently.
Huh?
He's better at hiding it, apparently.
Yes. Well, he did get mono, so I mean, I'm sure he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be. Or I guess I don't know if it's supposed to be, but whatever. He wasn't getting called out on Twitter for it.
Yeah.
Unlike Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
All right. My next one is what's you have another football related one?
All of mine are football related.
All right. So many you got left? 2?
I have 3 left.
Wow. So why don't you do another one?
All right. The Patriots are no closer to signing Tom Brady. Evidently, he has come out and said that he is looking to test the free agent market.
He's going to the Tennessee Titans.
He is not going to the Titans.
He's going to the Titans.
He's not going to the Titans.
Absolutely going to the Titans.
It would be absolute stupidity for Tom Brady or for the Titans. I mean, Tom Brady. If anybody's willing to sign him, it's good for Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. He's not good enough to go to almost any team.
I told you this before the podcast when we were talking about
it was a pretty heated exchange.
Yeah, real heated.
Yeah, because you're wrong.
Fists were thrown, windows were broken.
Oh, yeah. I was going for the eyes. I was gouging.
We have to only sip the whiskey that we have left in our glasses because the bottle was broken.
Oh, yes. Big time. I broke it on the edge of the table. I tried stabbing Hattie in the heart.
Yep, he missed, though.
Well,
still here.
Fortunately for you guys, now you can listen to the podcast. He's only bleeding a little bit from his neck area.
No, I'm not bleeding at all. Okay. I mean, I have bled for the broadcast before, which you have.
None of that happened. We could have just kept it going.
But I'm not bleeding. That's for sure.
But yes.
I think he's going to the Tennessee Titans. I give them the best chance to land Tom Brady at this moment.
No.
Looking for
It'd
houses,
be insane on their
finding
part.
schools for his kids.
That's just negotiation tactics.
Hey, you know what? Other players have done the same thing, and they usually end up where they end up. Because him and Mike Vrabel had a nice fishing trip somewhere, and we're talking the sweet nothings on in each other's ear.
So a little Baker Mayfield type situation between Vrabel and all right.
They were slipping some sweet somethings.
Oh gosh,
in each other's ears.
Oh god,
about playing in Tennessee.
Slipping sweet somethings into each other's ears.
They could be tongues. They could be words. Who knows?
Let's hope they're words. But anyway, I
mean, Tom Brady doesn't like to kiss people, kids included.
Mostly his sons.
Yeah.
Yes. Always with tongue. But yeah, I will say that I do think that it's looking more and more likely now that he will not be playing with the New England Patriots. I just love bringing that up. It's such a corny thing to say. Anyway, but yes, I do not think it is going to be with the Titans. I think that that's a super stupid place for Tom Brady to end up because it just does not make any sense at all.
I think it makes a lot of sense.
Tom Brady.
I think it's a perfect spot for him to go.
How is it
they have great talent.
It might be a perfect spot for him, but it's not he's not a perfect quarterback for them.
Well, I mean, neither is Ryan Tannehill. Let's be honest.
I mean, Tannehill is a better quarterback at this point in his career than Tom Brady is for him.
Wow,
he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
Absolutely not.
Look at Tannehill's numbers over the stretch run that he had.
That is.
He was one of the if not the top quarterback, he was one of like the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
Over the time that he took over as a quarterback.
Sure, stats wise, then he got into a playoff game where he needed to be relied upon and couldn't do it. Couldn't finish it. Couldn't win a game.
Oh, he didn't win a game against the Patriots? Well, that's interesting because I remember him winning a game against the Patriots.
I mean, Derrick Henry
the
won
Patriots,
a game versus the Patriots.
The Patriots who had a top-tier defense. Yes, I remember Ryan Tannehill essentially taking care of business there.
Like having, 12
And then I also remember Ryan Tannehill going and beating, who, the Texans?
No.
Who did he beat in the divisional game? Because he went all the way to the championship game. So he won 2 different playoff games.
Not the Texans, because the Texans played the Chiefs.
So who did he play against?
I don't know. I don't remember.
I don't either.
Did they play in the wild card round?
Yeah, they was a wild card team. They beat the Patriots, and then they beat. Let me go back. And then
they didn't go to the
they beat the
championship.
Ravens. That's right. They beat the Ravens.
Yeah, they
and
beat the
Patriots.
Ravens.
Oh, okay.
They beat the Ravens.
Two
They beat the
of the
Ravens.
very best defenses in the entire NFL. So how are you going to sit here and say that he can't win playoff games? Yeah, he didn't beat the Chiefs.
No.
But who could beat the Chiefs? Nobody in the NFL because they won the Super Bowl.
Derrick Henry beat the Ravens and the Patriots, not Ryan
Tannehill had beautiful passes when they needed him to pass.
Sure. I mean, it's pretty easy when you're running that well and you have a
you're
safety in the box and you can do play action.
He was one game away from going to the Super Bowl, and he had to go through the Chiefs, which, let's face it, the Chiefs are one of the most unstoppable teams in the entire NFL.
Sure, they're unstoppable.
And even still, they almost did it.
Their defense isn't that great. Ryan Tannehill can't make a couple throws against the good defense to take them all the way.
Titans defense isn't great either.
I mean, sure.
So, I mean, the Titans defense had to stop
Titans is better than
Mahomes.
the Chiefs.
What?
Titans defense is better than the Chiefs.
I don't know if that's true.
That is true.
But the Titans defense had to stop Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not saying that Ryan Tannehill is a Patrick Mahomes. What I'm saying is that Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback at this point in his career than Tom Brady is.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
Okay, well, you can be wrong, but you're just doing it in a public forum.
I mean, I don't think I'm wrong. And
You can look at the stats.
I think most people would agree with me.
Ryan Tannehill beat Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I would say Derrick Henry beat the Patriots in the playoffs, not Ryan Tannehill.
Was Tom Brady out there slinging the ball and making beautiful passes? No, he looked completely inept.
Yeah.
Just like he looked for the entire season, essentially.
I mean,
when he wasn't playing awful teams.
I mean, the offense of the Patriots wasn't that great this year. Like,
yes,
talent-wise, anywhere. Like, I mean, it's not all on Tom Brady to make the best throws every single time.
Okay, but he doesn't have the ability to elevate an offense at this point. Is my point.
Ryan Tannehill didn't elevate an offense.
He didn't come into an offense that was not functioning properly with Marcus Mariota and then completely turn things around and make them a playoff game.
Sure, he's better than Marcus Mariota. I mean, there's no arguing that.
So what I'm saying is he elevated an offense that was not previously elevated with a quarterback of, I mean,
Derrick Henry also hit his stride.
Derrick Henry hit his stride at the end of last year.
Yeah, he's a good player.
Okay, so he was fine at the beginning of this year also. Yeah. It's not like he came in and started playing well. He was playing well when Marcus Mariota was in there playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not...
See, like I said, you can be wrong. You're just doing it in a public forum.
Oh, I'm not wrong.
You are completely wrong.
There's no way Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback than Tom Brady.
At this point in the year 2020, Ryan Tannehill is a better quarterback for the Titans to go with than
neither one
Tom
of those
Brady.
quarterbacks played in 2020.
I'm saying next year, Ryan Tannehill is going to be the better option for them than Tom Brady.
I mean, Ryan Tannehill might be a backup to Tom Brady next year.
That would be a huge mistake.
That would not be a huge mistake.
It would be because Tom Brady doesn't have the ability to make the throws. He does not have the ability to escape the pressure, and Ryan Tannehill does have the ability to do those things.
Yeah, but he's not going to make the mistakes that Ryan Tannehill did.
Ryan Tannehill wasn't making big mistakes.
He made mistakes in that Chiefs game.
When?
I'm not gonna. I don't know.
Okay, so then don't
second,
say it because you said that he wasn't.
There was times where he needed to make throws in that game, and he did not make the throws.
Yes, he did.
He did not make the throws versus the Chiefs.
He had a lead, and the defense gave it up.
In what, the second quarter?
Yes, actually, they had a 10-point lead going into the second quarter.
I mean, did you watch the game?
No, I didn't watch the championship game of the NFL. Of course, I did. Did you watch it?
I watched it.
Okay.
I think you might have had some, I don't know, some
I wanted the Chiefs to win.
Something.
I like the Chiefs better than I like the Titans. I'm just saying that Ryan Tannehill did not play an awful game. He was completely capable. The defense gave up a lead to a team that was better than them. That wasn't Ryan Tannehill's fault. That's all there is to it.
All right. I disagree with your synopsis, but we will move on.
Tom Brady is not going to the Titans.
He's going to the Titans. I give him a 45% chance.
100%.
What's your next one?
The Cardinals open to like how we're just moving on from that.
Yep.
That was a nice little heated moment we had there.
I liked it, and you're wrong, but we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, let us know on Twitter, guys. What do you guys think?
Yeah, Tom Brady or Ryan Tannehill, 2020.
Yep.
Who's better?
And make sure you take into account what we just said there, and not just the fact that Tom Brady is a bigger name. Anyway,
yep. Taking all things.
The Carolina Cardinals.
The Carolina.
Arizona Cardinals owner has come out and said that he is open to the Cardinals having their team exposed to Hard Knocks for the offseason this year. Do you want to see the Cardinals on Hard Knocks?
Weren't they already in Hard Knocks? Or the other show on Amazon?
The
whatever. All That Remains. All
for Nothing, or
I don't know. There's an Amazon one, and then there's an HBO
All
one.
or Nothing.
All or Nothing?
Yeah, I think that's the name of the other one.
All right. I thought they were already on one of them, but I could be wrong. I thought they were.
They haven't been in a while.
But I don't watch those shows very often.
Yeah, I don't either.
Although Hard Knocks is supposed to be very good.
Yeah.
Like everyone who watches it says it's real good.
Yeah.
I just don't watch it.
Yeah. I think it could be an interesting storyline with, some of the stuff there. You got Larry Fitz there.
Last year.
Coming to the end of his career. You have, obviously a new quarterback, a young coach. There could be some interesting storylines there.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, I think it would be, make for some interesting plot and good television.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a good team to follow.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like football news, not football news, which will get me into my
There you go.
first non-football news
Okie
thing. Jeff Bezos,
Oh, okay.
CEO of Amazon, has came out and said that he's going to pledge $10 billion, with a B, $10 billion to fight climate change.
That's not enough.
I mean, like no other person has ever pledged $10 billion
True.
to anything.
That's true. That's a lot of money.
I think that's pretty commendable.
I think it's,
I mean, I don't know if Jeff Bezos is a great guy or a bad guy. I don't know. Nobody ever met the guy. Well, I mean, sure. Some people have.
We don't even know if he exists.
I haven't met him.
I have never
met
him
him
either.
$10 billion.
If I did meet him, I would ask him for $10,000.
For climate change. I don't know. I mean, that's a great thing.
Yes.
But maybe he should pay his workers that make him those $10 billion.
Oh,
a little bit
hot
more.
take.
A little hot take.
A little hot take. I like it.
Improve work conditions at Amazon.
Okay.
Who knows?
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Honestly, while you're saying that, it's genuinely true. Like these guys that make that much money, like at this point, Amazon can't fail. They just make too much money. Like just pay. You don't need it. You don't need the extra money. Just pay your workers a little bit more.
Yeah.
That would make you like such a great guy to pay your workers a little bit more money. They would all want to work harder for you.
I will say, pay the ones that deserve it.
That's true.
More.
But that's the same for any job.
That is the same for any job. But pay your good people more.
Why get stingy on these people? Like they're just trying to make a living.
Yep, and you have $10 billion extra to go do
which is good.
Thing. Which is good.
Which is good to do things like that. Obviously Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation does a lot to do the same thing, fighting climate change and disparity and inequality and all that kind of stuff, the problems of the world, which is good. Those things are, commendable things, and it's good to see other multi-billionaires doing that stuff.
Yep.
But
I won't have $10 billion extra in my entire life.
No.
Let alone
never. You'll never have
$1 billion having so much money that you got to go figure out what to do with it.
You'll never even come close to having 1% of $1 billion. No, 10%.
Right.
What's 1% of $1 billion?
Like $1 million.
Yeah, you'll come close to that. In the bank at one time. I mean, that's
in the bank at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably not in the bank at one time.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
But over the course of your life, you'll make $1 million. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, so it's a great cause. Like, whatever, like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you have that much extra money that you're trying to go find a good cause, maybe you're doing something wrong. Maybe you should be giving the people that actually earned you that money a little bit.
I think you can do both.
A little bit extra. You can do both.
I think you can do both.
I mean, you could set up a charity and stuff, and other people would donate to it and, like, do good things. But pay your people more.
Yeah. Do a little trickle-down economics.
Yep.
Yeah, the problem is a lot
Too
of these
much
green
disparity.
things that are going to save the planets from climate change is
not going to work.
They're expensive too.
Yep.
Like solar and wind power, electricity are great ideas, but they're expensive.
They are.
And
not really that good. Like, have you ever looked into like electric cars with the big rage all is right now? Like to
not
make
really.
the pollution that it takes to make the batteries that are inside the eco cars completely does away any good that it's going to do over the course of you owning a car. Like if you're a car owner that only owns your car 3 or 4 years, which is about average, I would say, for a car. If you average it out through everybody, it takes more. It does more damage to the planet to make the battery than it does just to drive the extra with gas.
I wonder how much those batteries, how long they last.
They start degrading just like your cell phone does.
Yeah. I'd like to have a Tesla at some point. They're really cool.
Yeah, Teslas are cool.
Yep.
That Cybertruck.
That thing's so stupid. Yeah. When are you getting your Cybertruck, Hattie? You said you were going to get one when
2023. Already pre-ordered.
Yeah. Okay. I will kill you if you actually did.
I actually pre-ordered one.
You're an idiot.
What? They're cool.
They're not cool. They're the ugliest thing in the entire world. They're like the 1980s Mustangs.
They are sweet.
They're hideous.
They can tow stuff. They can do 0 to 60.
What do you have to tow?
Time.
What do you have to tow?
I don't know. Maybe I'll get something to tow.
You know what else does 0 to 60 in an insane
2023. You know, that's
regular Teslas.
That's 4 years from now. Well, 3 years, but depending
What
on
a
when it comes
schmuck!
out.
You don't need it. Did you actually pre-order one?
Yes, I did.
You're such an idiot.
They're sweet. They're awesome.
I'm so ashamed of you.
Why are you ashamed?
Because I'm just so ashamed.
They can put a 4-wheeler in the back and 4 people in
You
the car.
don't own a 4-wheeler. You don't even have a yard.
I mean, maybe I'll have a yard by 2023. Who knows?
Not if you are spending all your money on a stupid Tesla truck.
They're sweet.
You're dumb.
They're awesome. You know it.
Oh, Lord. I wouldn't buy one if I had Jeff Bezos' money.
I'd have 2.
You'd tow one with the other one? That's a power move right there, is having a Cybertruck to tow your other Cybertruck.
If one breaks down, I have one to tow the other one with.
Could you imagine that being your plan, just having 2 cars that you tow in case in case one breaks down, you can tow the other one with it? That's pretty funny, actually.
I'd like it.
See, that's what you guys get when you tune into the Grown Man's Podcast.
Yeah, you just never know.
Brilliant ideas like that.
Tow a car with your other car in case it breaks down.
There you go, backup car.
That's the best spare tire that anyone has ever had.
Holy crap. Hattie's taking out his mic over here.
Almost.
See, you're going to be taking out way more than that when you own a Cybertruck, Hattie.
Cybertruck.
Things like 80 foot long.
Cybertruck.
They're so dumb.
They're sweet.
Those things are so ugly.
I think they're sweet.
Oh, Lord.
All right, what's your next one you got going on here?
My last item here, Jameis Winston has had LASIK surgery done to his eyes. Maybe now
from all those picks that you threw.
Maybe now he'll be able to see which receiver he's throwing it to.
I
only wrote it down so I
a little joke.
I only wrote that one down so I get that little one-liner out. So
yeah, I saw that one too earlier in the week, and I actually forgot about it, and I had that same joke.
Oh, did you? Nice.
Yeah.
Look at that.
So my last one is also non-football related. Elton John.
One of my favorites.
See, I told you you'd like this last one.
I love Elton John. I've gone to see Elton John.
He actually had to cancel one of his concerts midway through.
Really?
Because he actually has walking pneumonia right now. He was tearful as he was escorted off the stage. Had to end it early.
That's unfortunate.
Kind of sad.
Yeah.
Like, this is his last tour of his career. I mean, he came out and...
Is his last tour?
It's his farewell tour, yep. It's going to be done after this one.
Wow.
And, had to go off stage, walking pneumonia.
I want to see Elton John, let's see, probably 4 or 5 years ago down in... Scranton, PA, I think, or Wilkes-Barre, PA, and it was a great show. I mean, he sat there and no opening bands or anything like that.
Yep.
He just walked out onto the stage with a piano on stage, and he played a lineup, a set for 3 hours probably. It was just all number one hits. It was just, hit after hit after hit after hit for like 2-3 hours straight. It was amazing.
Yeah, I actually want to go to, he's going to Philadelphia.
Oh, yeah?
In November.
Tickets have to be insanely
I actually
expensive.
want to go to that.
I wonder how much the tickets. They got to be $300 a piece. I know when I went, they were like $200 a piece.
I think I looked at them and they were 200 and something a piece.
Yeah, he was probably the most expensive show I've ever gone to. I went and saw Bob Dylan about a year ago, and that was an amazing show.
Yep.
But that one was kind of weird because Bob Dylan doesn't play his music like you have like the way that you hear it. Whenever you buy like the album off of iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
But he recorded that 50 years ago. He doesn't, and he's constantly changing his songs, so he doesn't play the songs like they were when they were recorded. So you'll be sitting there listening, and all of a sudden he'll start, singing, and you'll be like, "Wait a second, this is, Tangled Up in Blue," or whatever the case is, a song.
You saw that in New York, right?
No, I went to Rochester to see him.
Really?
And I went by myself. I couldn't find anybody else that liked Bob Dylan. And do you like Bob Dylan?
No, but I probably would have went if you asked.
Well, I asked around to everybody. I even because I have a lot of friends, that are in their 50s and 60s and stuff like that. Also,
that's another grown man move. Never let another grown man or woman or child or whoever goes to a concert or show or whatever. Never let them go alone.
Yeah, you're good for that.
I would never let you go alone.
Yeah, well, even
what? If I didn't really care. I mean, the thing is even if you don't like a band that much, seeing them live in concert's way better than just like listening to them on the radio.
That's true. But you know what I decided, and my wife would have gone with me. And she said, "I'll go with you if you want." But I love Bob Dylan so much that I didn't want to worry about having somebody else with me that wasn't as excited to be at the show as I was. I didn't want to have to worry whether or not they were having a good time because I loved it so much that I just wanted to go and just completely enjoy it. And you know what? I was sandwiched between two families on either side of me. And we were all just like fangirling out. Like, it was.
They're your Bob Dylan families.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We were all so excited. And, it was an amazing show. And, yeah, first time I ever went to a concert by myself. And I don't regret it at all. It was great.
So, talking about concerts and shows and stuff, I actually forgot. I saw Gabriel Iglesias last week. Went to see him in.
Comedian, right?
Yes, Fluffy.
Yeah. Oh,
Fluffy.
Okay. Yeah. That's cool. How was it?
It was awesome. He was real good. Yeah.
Why did you tell me? I would have gone with you. I would have too. I love stand-ups.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone to see quite a few of them, and yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like a last-second thing. I was like, oh, he's actually like going to be semi-close. He was in Syracuse. He was
nice.
Wednesday night? Friday? Tuesday or Wednesday. It was a Tuesday or Wednesday, so it was a school night, so to speak.
Was I in Syracuse on Wednesday night? I think I was in Syracuse on Wednesday.
That would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
But no, it was in the, real good location.
Nice.
The theater up there is real good. Landmark Theater, I believe, in Syracuse.
Cool.
Real nice. Real nice inside. Real old school.
Yeah.
And you did a good job.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this last summer, me and Rachel went down to New York City to Gary Gulman, one of our favorite comedians, was recording an HBO special. And so we went down to to be there for the recording of the special and to watch the show. But afterwards, we went to a couple of comedy clubs in New York City and just watched some local comedians and stuff. It was a good time. We had some good food down in Brooklyn, and
always good food down in Brooklyn.
Yes, a lot of small little
I will say,
bars and stuff.
Like Brad Garrett from Everyone Loves Raymond. Mm-hmm. He actually has I've been to Vegas like 3 times in the last 2 years just for work and stuff.
Right.
And he actually has a comedy club there. And every time I go, it's like, man, I want to have like one free night where I can go like at 7 p.m., which is when his show starts, and like see him.
Yeah.
But I haven't had a night where I've like been able to go at 7 p.m.
That stinks.
That he's at, like, it's his comedy club, so he's not there every night. There's only certain nights where he's there, and then he has like other stand-up comics that like fill in the rest of the time. But when he's actually there, I've never been able to see him. Like, I would like to go see him. Like, I have no clue what his stand-up is like. I've never seen it, but I just liked him from Everybody's Loved Raymond, so I would go. Like, I mean, comedy club, like,
it's
like
always
that
fun.
is pretty cheap to get into, and they're always real fun.
Yeah, it's like $10 cover and then 2 drink
like,
minimum or something, whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, but I love comedy, stand-up comedy, and maybe we'll do it someday. Maybe once in a while we'll go down to New York City or something, catch some comedy club shows or something.
All right,
that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the last new item I have.
All right.
You all done?
All set.
All right.
Let's move it along
to questions from our listeners.
You got it. All right, moving right along here to our questions from our listeners.
Second time. Although you guys didn't hear the first time because we messed it up real bad.
There was a failure to launch.
Yep.
You clicked the record button and I said, well, we'll give this another try.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you deleted it right out of the podcast.
Yeah, I didn't say anything at all. I just sat there.
You just laughed
looking at you.
Clapped your hands or whatever it was that you did.
Whatever I did.
Yeah, I liked it.
We know, but you guys will never know.
Never know.
Well, you'll never hear it. We just told you what happened. But so I guess you will know, but you'll never, ever hear it. It's already gone. Deleted.
Yep, deleted forever.
Sayonara, sucker. Mm-hmm. But yes, our first and only question comes from our good buddy, Gus.
Gus is back.
Haven't heard from Gus in a little while.
Gus is back.
I've been talking to Gus on DMs.
On the Twitter, everybody can.
Keeping track of Gus. I'm just making sure he's doing okay. But yeah, Gus asked us a question here this week. And so he said, how much should a top-tier number 2 wide receiver make? And he said, think Robbie Anderson.
Yep.
So,
because he's eligible to re-sign with the Jets this year.
He is. He is an unrestricted free agent this free agency. So
Homer Gus just trying to figure out how much Mr. Robbie Anderson's worth.
At the end of the day, we're always thinking about our team that we're fans of first and foremost. Right?
That's true. But we actually did a lot of research into this one, more than we usually do on some numbers.
We almost always do zero research. Let's be realistic here. We're almost always flying by the seat of our pants. If you haven't figured that out by now, you're not listening that closely.
Oh, we do some research.
We do something.
Like, we got to get the numbers and figures and stuff right.
Like, brainstormed for a little bit and looked up some player comp, trying to figure out, who was roughly about the same caliber players, Robbie.
Yeah.
I think we came up with some good players.
Yeah, we came up with some good names and numbers.
some comps. Like when you're buying a house and you're looking for how much to sell your house for.
Yep.
You look up comps in your neighborhood. See other houses that are about the same as yours. How much did they sell for?
Yeah.
So that's what we did with Robbie Anderson comps. We came up with 5-6 names.
Yeah.
All right.
A few more than that. But...
So why don't we start off by saying what the initial thing that came to our head was? My initial thought when I thought about how much Robbie should or would make in this free agency period was around $12-13 million a year, which is what I said. You said
my estimate is between 11 and 13.
Yeah.
I think is his range.
Okay. Well, yes. So
yeah,
what we looked at here are the names that we had kind of brainstormed that were roughly same caliber players. Like a high end number 2 type player. We came up with Golden Tate, Golden Tate with the Giants, Marvin Jones with the Lions, Robert Woods with the Rams, Emmanuel Sanders, which Emmanuel Sanders is a little bit higher caliber, I think, of a player. They're close.
Yep.
But
I think Emmanuel Sanders is better right now.
Yeah.
I think you have to look at a little bit of Robbie Anderson as he's just coming. He's very young.
Yes.
Like he's coming into his prime, and there's that potential there,
and
I think is worth that 1 or 2 extra million.
Yeah. And Robbie Anderson has played. The first 2 years of his career, he played with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh
McCown.
Josh McCown for the first 2 years, and then the last 2 years he's played with rookie Sam Darnold. So he hasn't been playing, with Patrick Mahomes or anything like that for the first 4 years of his contract or 4 years of his playing career.
Yep.
But yeah, so Emmanuel Sanders. Then we came up with Tyler Lockett.
Lockett.
I think Tyler Lockett's probably the closest as far as player, maybe.
Yeah, I think.
As far as like their playing style and stuff.
Yep, I think between Emmanuel Sanders and Tyler Lockett is where his deal should be.
Yes,
which Sanders is making $11 million a year, and Tyler Lockett is $12.3 million.
Yeah.
So I think if he signs a $11.5 to $12 million deal, I think that's fair for his value. If you want to add in, which NFL teams will do, the extra value of him, taking into consideration that he is very young, this is his first big deal, that maybe you do give him the $12.5 to $13 million range for a player that has a lot of potential.
Right. Yeah, so I think in free agency also you're going to get more than you would get, generally speaking, than if you strike a hometown deal with the team that you're already with. Because you get to hit that, feeding frenzy. And I think a lot of people are going to see potential in Robbie Anderson. He's very fast. His ball tracking is genuinely off the chart. He's amazing at ball tracking. And he's got pretty good hands. He can get some jump balls and stuff. I think his potential is quite high.
Yeah, I do too.
And I've been.
It was rumored that the Packers were very interested in him.
Yeah.
But they're not giving him $14 million a year.
No, and I don't think anybody will.
What he wants.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to give him $14 million. I think that 12.5 to 13 is probably the peak that he's going to get. Probably with, probably closer to 11.5.
Yeah.
And I think that the Jets at 11.5 to 12 million should try to get that deal done because Sam Darnold needs weapons.
Yep. And he's probably the biggest one for the Jets.
Yeah, I would say so. Demaryius Thomas was okay last year, but Demaryius Thomas is getting older. Quincy Enunwa is a good wide receiver for the Jets. He's kind of a bully wide receiver. He's got a big body and he's able to really make some contested catches. He just actually re-signed last year with the Jets, 4 years for $36 million.
Yeah.
So
that's a $9 million a year deal.
Yep. And I think that Robbie Anderson's ceiling is higher than Quincy's.
Absolutely.
I think that I would be happy if the Jets got Robbie or able to keep Robbie for $11 million.
All right.
I think that he will probably end up hitting free agency and probably end up getting around 12 to 12.5.
Yeah, I think he's going to get 12 to 12.5.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate to lose a player that I really like. Because I have been on, anybody who knows me, personally, knows that I have been on the Team Robbie since the very beginning. When he was a undrafted rookie free agent that signed with the Jets and hadn't even made a training camp or made the team yet during training camp. I was high on Robbie from the literal very beginning. So
So if it was smart of the Jets, I would sign him to a 5-year deal and give him a little bit more guaranteed money and have it average like $13 million a year, $13.5 million a year. Front load it slightly, and have not much guaranteed, like as little guaranteed as you possibly can. So if you need to cut, if he doesn't pan out, you can cut him. And then because I mean, you're saying that you would want to get a deal done if he was 11.5, $12 million. Is that what you're saying, that you wanted with the Jets?
Yes, but it would have to be a situation like you're saying where it's, it's not a lot of guaranteed money. Because here's the problem with Robbie.
Yeah.
Robbie's got a high potential.
Yep.
But Robbie has also had legal problems.
Yes.
He has had 2 different off seasons, 2 separate off seasons where he had legal issues where he was like, getting into fights with cops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Stuff that is really not what you want to see. One of the times he was saying how he was going to go home and, violate one of the cops' wives. Not ideal behavior. This last year he really cleaned it up, but he knew it was a contract year.
Yeah.
He hangs out with some,
shady characters,
unsavory characters, for sure.
Yeah,
I think his personal life, but
so I think if I was the Jets front office, I mean, you don't want to lose a guy for $1 million because really that's really nothing in the NFL.
Right.
So I would give him like that extra $1 million. So say if he was going to get like 12, give him 13 or 11, you give him 12 to stay with the Jets, and then just make it so it's not guaranteed. So in 2 or 1 or 3 or whatever it happens to be, if he doesn't pan out or he does get into trouble, then you can cut him and you're free and clear, and that $1 million never comes into play anyway.
Yep, I agree. So that's what I would say.
All right. Yeah, I agree.
Yep.
Just to put it in perspective, one other tidbit is Sammy Watkins. He signed a deal with the Chiefs, which is kind of, I think Sammy Watkins has a higher upside as of right now than Robbie Anderson. But they gave him a $16 million deal, which is a lot for a number 2. And they're going to cut him this year. That's another little news item. It's most likely that Sammy Watkins is going to be cut because, they took a chance. Yeah. They tried to get a really good guy, and it did not pan out as well as they thought. So he's going to be cut.
No, he thinks he's a lizard.
What?
He thinks he's actually a lizard.
Oh.
He thinks he's a lizard person.
Okay. Well, that notwithstanding, I don't think Sammy Watkins, he got $16 million or whatever he made this year, depending on how the contract was structured. But he's only going to get 1 year of that. And he's not making $16 million when he goes back.
2 years of it.
2 years of it?
I think he's there for 2 years.
All right. But we still don't know how the contract was structured. But when he hits free agency again,
he's not going to get anywhere.
He's not going to get $16 million.
He'll probably get
a year.
$7-8 million.
Yeah.
Yep. Because he has proved that he is not number 1 caliber. He is not even a good number 2 caliber.
Yeah.
He had Tyreek Hill drawing double coverage and was still not able to succeed with Patrick Mahomes throwing the ball to him.
Sammy Watkins is one of those guys where he teases you with that great play.
Yep.
Like he makes like 1 or 2 plays that are phenomenal. And then he just kind of disappears.
Well, the first game of this year, of the 2019 season, he came out fantasy-wise and scored like 25 points, something crazy like that. Like he had like 2 touchdowns and 150 yards or something stupid like that, and then did nothing for essentially the rest of the season.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, you take a chance on a guy with a high ceiling. And sometimes it pans out, and sometimes it doesn't. And after 1 or 2 years, you can cut him like the Chiefs are probably going to do. And, he'll
move on and get paid somewhere else.
Move on and get paid less.
Yep. So thanks for the question, Gus. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. You're back. You're back asking us questions.
Yeah, make it a more regular thing because, listen, not enough of you guys who are listening are asking questions here. We need those questions. Otherwise, we're going to be running out of segments completely, and we're just going to have to talk more about how much our jobs suck.
Yep. We'll spitball for an hour. We can do that.
We can do that.
We can definitely talk for an hour and a half.
I think we have proved that.
No problem.
Yes.
We're approaching that tonight.
Yes. So we do appreciate the questions. Make sure you guys are following us on Twitter at GrownMansPod. So when I send out that request every Monday morning for those questions and comments and whatever, you can reply to it. So make sure that you do follow us on Twitter at GrownMansPod or on Instagram at GrownMansPodcast. Or you can drop a letter in the mail, just addressed to the Grown Man's Podcast, and the mail will know what to do with it. But that's a slower way to get your questions to us.
Absolutely.
Don't do it on Monday mornings if you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Drop it in the mailbox Sunday evening if you're going to do that.
let's get to tasting this whiskey.
Yeah, so after the music, we'll come back and we'll do the tasting of the Redwood Empire. So stick around for after the music, and thanks for listening. And also, you should become a Patreon supporter if you guys want some really cool stickers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're giving them out for anybody who wants to join us on Patreon.
You can put them on your baby's face.
Absolutely.
All right. All right, so Hattie, as we were discussing just now, Hattie thinks that being the commissioner of a league at least demands a little bit of respect.
A little bit.
I don't think so.
Just a little bit.
I think the commissioner.
You got to keep everything in order, especially you. You're my biggest troublemaker.
Of course. I find no more joy in life than when I am instigating problems and trying to cause derision in our league for you to have to deal with. It is unquestionably my favorite thing to do.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I genuinely and truthfully find no more joy than when I am like causing an uprising that you will have to inevitably deal with. It's great. It's so much fun. Hattie's like, yeah.
Is it fun?
It is a lot of fun, actually.
I'm sure you enjoy it.
But thanks for sticking around for the whiskey tasting, the show after the show where we let our hair down and open the robe.
Yeah.
Yep.
Open the robe.
Yep.
Are they like purple and red silk robes?
Yeah. I think
all right.
what's the material I'm thinking? Like a suede robe.
Velvet
robe, yes. You know, very fancy, classy.
So one of these days,
yes,
like we're gonna find ourselves in like a whiskey lounge or maybe like a man cave that we have in the future with like the big leather chairs,
a wingback chair,
and we need to be in just robes sipping whiskey.
I'll tell you, I can already exactly. We don't even have to discuss it. I know exactly what you're picturing in your head right now. Like some cognac glasses in our hands, like sitting in leather, like with like the puckered like.
Yep, the gold buttons.
Yes.
Yep.
And, nice leather wingback chairs.
Yep.
Legs crossed like a man.
Oh, yeah.
With the red velvet robes. Perfect amount of chest hair popping out.
Well,
do you have chest hair? You don't cross me. You cross me as a guy who probably waxes his chest hair.
I do not have chest hair.
You don't have any chest hair?
Zero.
What?
Very, very little.
Look at this.
Oh, man. Very, very chest hairy.
Very chest hairy. So, I'm working with bear rug on my chest. It's not quite bear rug like, but I got plenty of chest hair.
I'll just bring a little class to that velvet robe.
You know why I got so much chest hair?
What's that?
Drinking lots of crappy whiskey because it put hair on your chest.
Well, that's what we do here at the Grown Man's Podcast. Yes. We steer you away from the crappy whiskey.
We are not drinking crappy whiskey this week.
We are not.
We are drinking Redwood Empire Emerald Giant Rye Whiskey. It is a 45% alcohol, so it's 90 proof.
This is from Oregon, right?
California.
Northern
California.
Northern California.
So this is what the bottle says here. It says, Emerald Giant is crafted from hand-selected barrels aged at least 3 years. Aging our barrels in the temperate climate of the Northern California coast allows for a slow and even extraction of flavor, producing a whiskey of exceptional balance and complexity.
All right.
And I would, in general, agree with that. I don't know if the complexity of the flavor is its strongest quality.
I think that's one of its stronger qualities is the complexity. Yeah.
I think I wouldn't say that's one note, but I'd say maybe it's two note. It's not like a developing flavor for me anyway. I think it's I was joking at the beginning, obviously saying it's the smoothest whiskey I've ever tried. It is not the smoothest whiskey I've ever tried. But I do genuinely think it is a very smooth whiskey. And Hattie does not think it's an exceptionally smooth whiskey, which is fine because
I think it's very good.
Yeah.
I think it
was both of our favorites at a whiskey tasting that we did most recently.
Yes.
They had good whiskey at it.
Yeah. I think it's an above average smoothness.
Yes.
I think it's slightly sharp, not like anything super offensive or anything. Just above average smoothness.
I find strange because I think it is of exception. I think it's an exceptionally smooth whiskey, but that's what we say every week, guys. You know, taste is subjective. Taste is subjective. You know, but I will say, you know, doing this podcast, I try to be adventurous with the whiskeys that I buy because there's so many whiskeys out there that you can buy.
Yeah.
And so I usually try to buy a whiskey that I've never had before.
I think that's a general rule that we should do.
And
unless we're using like a bottle from our stock.
Right.
If we go out and buy one for the podcast, it should be something we've never, ever had.
Yep. And that's almost exclusively what I do. But I loved this whiskey so much from the last tasting. I did not bring this to our last tasting. One of our buddies, Mike, brought this to our last tasting. And I loved it so much that I said, I will buy a bottle of that at some point, you know, to have because I liked it that much. Mm-hmm. And it did not disappoint when I got it. So, you know, it's got a nice label on it. You know, it's this cool, like, giant. And it's
like a construction paper label.
Yeah, it's like
embossed.
Like a laid paper. If you guys know what laid paper is, it's like a thick, like, craft, you know, like, what do they call it? Like when it's like a small company that does it.
It is. It's probably a cotton blend.
Yeah, something like that. It's a thick, nice paper. And
I don't know what you're trying to say.
But you know, it's got like a little story about John Muir on the bottle, also, who is a kind of a, I don't want to say an idol of mine, but is somebody who I'm a big fan of John Muir. He was he hiked a lot of the national parks. They say he's the father of the national parks.
All right.
You know, kind of trailblazed a lot of the national parks, Yosemite and Yellowstone, all those kind of places.
Did he do the Appalachian Trail?
He may have.
Right.
He may have. I don't know. Appalachian Trail is on my bucket list.
Mm.
I'd love to do the Appalachian Trail. I never will.
It's real long.
It's very long. It takes like 6 to 8 months to do.
Yes.
But I would love to do it at some point. Even if I just hiked part of it, I'd be happy. But so let's get into the whiskey here.
All right.
It is for me. Why don't you start off? What was your nose?
So I'll do the nose.
Okay.
It's definitely a rye nose. Mm-hmm. I get some applewood, some toffee, and some bubble gum. Like a little bit of bubble gum.
Okay, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's playful.
Yeah, I like
just
it.
playing with your senses a little bit.
That's good.
That's very, very funny that you said that. We didn't share our notes at all.
We never do.
Well, sometimes we will say things that we're smelling or tasting during it, but we did not do that on this one.
We didn't.
But I said my in order was apple, caramel, which is close to toffee.
All right.
And I said piney. I had to get like a very like a pine wood more so than pine sap, but like a little bit of a pine wood scent to it.
So I got applewood.
You said applewood.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, all right.
And caramel. So I think that our nose is very on then if we're both thinking the same thing. I didn't get the bubblegum, obviously.
Not bad. Yeah, I got a little sweetness. A little bubblegum.
It's definitely got some sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
what about your tasting notes?
Okay. So like I said, the first thing that I wrote down, so smooth. Just unrelentingly smooth. And I do actually believe that. I do think it is an incredibly smooth whiskey, but that's not a tasting note. It's weird. I don't get a whole ton of sweetness so much on the flavor of it. I mean, I think it's a buttery palate, like mouthfeel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's got like a smooth, creamy mouthfeel to it. But like the flavors that I get from it are like a in the background, kind of like a leathery cedariness to it. Kind of like an old book, maybe.
An old book. That's not the first time you've used the old book one.
No, it's a reference point for me.
All right.
I love the smell of old books.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my tasting, you done?
Yeah.
All right. So my tasting notes is it's slightly mashy, which I think is where a little bit of the harshness comes from. Only a smidgen. Like I'm still saying this.
You don't have
smooth.
to be defensive, Hattie.
No, I understand.
I didn't brew it myself. I
know. I understand. It's slightly sharp.
Okay.
Not offensively slow.
You don't have to be defensive, Hattie.
But I also get licorice.
I get a little bit of
Anise.
licorice. Yeah.
I get a little spice.
A little anus on the back end.
A little anise on the back end.
You know?
Just a little anise.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of anus on the back end.
Not at all. And then, like, as you let it sit there, like, after you take a sip in probably, like, 30 to 45 seconds, it goes to, like, a mellow smoothness. So kind of like the sweetness of smoothness of when you, like, have, like, a toffee. from the fair. You ever have like fresh toffee from the fair, and after you eat it, you kind of have like that sugary, mellow smoothness, like after you've eaten it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this whiskey goes into. It kind of like develops into that.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a nice...
Stays in your mouth for a while.
Yeah, it's kind of nice at the end there.
And I think that the way that it feels on my tongue is also kind of like a sweet, fatty toffee type feeling. Like that's what I feel when it hits my tongue for the first time. Like it kind of coats your tongue in a nice way. That's kind of got that, like you're chewing on a Werther's or something. Like it has a nice way of coating your tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think the flavor does stick around for a little while. And I could definitely see what you're talking about with like a nice burnt toffee or something.
All right.
Yeah.
So what's your final review of this one?
Final rating?
Yeah. Score.
I will say 7.4.
7.4.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 7.0.
There you go.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Like especially for the price point. What is it? $32. $32?
Yep.
I don't think you can go wrong for $32.
You could not.
Especially for a Californian whiskey.
Yeah.
Like we've been trying some more whiskeys from different states. I mean, obviously you think of bourbon and stuff from Kentucky and Tennessee and down south, but there are a lot of other breweries and stuff that,
of course,
make a lot of different things, and
some
of them are real good.
They're great at wine. Why can't they do whiskey too?
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, and they also do. Redwood Empire makes they make a bourbon. Yeah. They also make a bourbon rye blend. So
this is the rye one that we're trying.
This is just
tonight,
straight rye.
Right.
And I almost made the mistake of getting the rye whiskey or the rye bourbon blend when I went to get this one specifically. So the labels all look very similar. Fortunately, I went back and double checked and saw that I got the wrong one and got this one. But I will probably at some point be buying the other ones to review those on the podcast at some point.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So thanks for listening, guys. And if you guys want to check out the if this is not enough of T-Bone and Hattie for you, you guys can be Patreon supporters. And then we do a Patreon exclusive podcast every week.
Yeah, and it's really good.
Listen, guys, this is all of our B-roll tape here. we do a 5 to 10 minute Patreon exclusive podcast, and man, it's gonna knock your socks off.
It's gold.
Oh, it's platinum, baby.
It's platinum.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Double platinum.
I love it.
Oh, it is so good.
We'll see you next week.
Yep. Stay manly.